Welcome back to another episode of Tapped In, episode 9. We got an emergency episode today. You guys know what we're going to be talking about today. If you're here, you know why you're here. All right. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Gone way too soon. All right. But before we get into it, guys, if you're not in the Discord, make sure you tap in. The link is below. We do weekly giveaways. We tap in with you guys. We talk to you guys. You guys are ahead of the game when it comes to knowing about our episodes, our merch, our giveaways, our events. Anything to do with MBH, you need to be in the Discord, okay? Guys, we also got Anthony. You might notice Anthony's not with me right now, but he's always with us. Okay, Anthony is in Portugal right now, but he's tapping in with the kids today. Ant, what's going on?
What's up, man? What's going on? Did not expect to be doing this as I'm away on vacation, but duty calls.
Well, Ant, we are happy to have you here. I hope you're enjoying Portugal. But without further ado, we got to get into the first and most important story right now, Charlie Kirk, okay? Yesterday, Jay sends a message in our group chat with a Twitter link, with an X link, and I opened the link, and it's Charlie Kirk being shot, pretty much dead. And I was shook. I started getting a lot of messages. We started talking as a team, and it was just insanity to see. I couldn't even believe it. I'm sure a lot of people had a hard time sleeping last night. I know I did. It's not that Charlie was our best friend and we knew him like that. I don't think a lot of people felt that with Charlie. It was more so like, how could this happen? How could something like this in 2025 be happening, especially in the US? So we're going to get into it. Charlie was fatally shot at Utah Valley University in Utah during a campus speaking event that was a part of his American Comeback Tour. So if you guys know Charlie, he does this a lot. He's always on campuses debating, preaching what he believes in most, which I agree with a lot of his beliefs, by the way. I don't think there's many things that Charlie has said that I can say I disagree with. All right. So he was shot. There was about 3,000 people there. Investigators determined the bullet came from about 200 yards away. So we'll talk about who we think did this and why this happened. But, 200 yards away, a shot like that could be a professional, in my opinion. Governor Spencer Cox characterized the shooting as a political assassination, which it definitely is. I mean, you look at Charlie's whole life is political. And anyone who would do this to him definitely was not on his side of beliefs, right? I do want to talk a little bit about, before we get into the videos of what happened, brutal videos. I'm sure you guys have seen some of these videos. We're not going to show the R-rated ones simply because it's just a lot for people to handle. But I do want to talk about who Charlie was, because a lot of people might not know who Charlie Kirk was. A lot of people might know exactly who he was. But for the people who don't know who he was and maybe have seen some viral clips here and there of, them just clip farming some of the, I guess, more intense debates that he's had, they might think, oh, well, he had it coming. And I've seen comments that are disgusting. Disgusting. A man, first of all, he was 31 years old. That's younger than me. 31 years old with a family, with 2 kids, with strong beliefs. He wasn't an extremist. We're going to talk about the things he believed in. But the comments that I'm seeing and some of the videos that I'm seeing that we're going to get to, they've been disgusting. It's almost like I can't even believe that many people would stoop that low at a time like this. Whether you agreed with him 100%, 90%, 20%, you didn't agree with him at all. It doesn't matter. This was a human. He wasn't a murderer. He wasn't a rapist, who we have a lot of those, by the way. We have a lot of those go in and out of jail, in and out of jail. You hear about this guy murdered someone. Oh, it was his 11th arrest. Charlie was not a criminal. So let's make that clear. He was a man who was willing to debate people genuinely, genuinely. And if you watch his debates, a lot of the time, 99% of the time, which is very hard to do in debates, he had respect for the person he was debating. You could hear it in his voice, in the way he asked questions. He was genuinely trying to understand the person he was debating, but genuinely also trying to preach his message to them in a genuine way. He wasn't a dick about it. Like I said, you might pinpoint 3-4 times that he had a debate that you hated what he said, or that one word he said, or that name he called someone. But let's get back to it. A human died. A father, a husband. Okay? So let's talk about Charlie for a minute. Luca, what I want to do is I want to search up his top 10 beliefs, and I want to go through them just to give you guys some context as to who exactly was assassinated yesterday. Because again, a lot of people will see, oh, well, he said that about abortion, or he said that about trans rights, or he said that about guns. A lot of people say a lot of shit. That doesn't mean you go shoot them in the neck. Let's be clear. So, and again, before we even get to this list, I just want to say this. Charlie was an inspiration to myself as well. I know Anthony can speak on his behalf, but for myself, he was an inspiration. Was it about everything that he believed in? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But did I really praise him for the kind of courage that he had to go on these campuses and debate people that not only disagreed with him, but almost hated him, as we can see? So the courage to do that at such a young age is for me, it's incredible. And that's why he's a legend. Even if he only lived till 31, he is a legend. So we're going to go through his top beliefs and positions throughout his career, okay? So the first one was Christian nationalism, okay? He strongly believes the U.S. should be more overtly embracing Christianity as part of the national identity. So one of the main things that he focused on was bringing Christianity back to the U.S. Come on. Is that extreme to you? It's not extreme to me. That, for me, is a green flag. If I'm going to green flag, red flag this list right now, this is a green flag. I look around in the world we're in today, Canada, US, around the world, doesn't matter. You know what we need more of? Christianity. We need more people to be fearful of God. So number one, Christian nationalism. Okay, green flag for me. Number two, conservatism on social issues. So this is pretty much, he is a conservative on most angles. He's opposed to same-sex marriage, and he's against gender-affirming care for transgender youth, which, okay, you can say what you want about same-sex marriage. It's 2025. That's cool. You could be against him there. But gender-affirming care for transgender youth, like, stop with the kids. This was something that he preached a lot. Leave the children alone. That's it. We don't need to push things on them that they don't even know what it is yet. That's number two. Okay, so far, I'm aligned with him. So far, right? Like I said, arguing that abortion should be generally illegal, opposing exceptions like those for rape. Now, again, this is a touchy subject. People might agree with him and say, I'm fully against abortion on all scales. Then there's people that say, well, I'm against abortion, but if something happens like rape or incest or something like that, then I'm pro-abortion. That's pretty much where I'm at, I would say. Now, do I hate him for saying that? No, he can have his opinion. He can have you don't know what experiences he had in life, what his family was like, what people in his family endured or went through. You don't know this stuff. For him to have an opinion, that's fine. You can be against his opinion and go debate him. He made it pretty easy. Okay, so now we get into free speech and what he views as woke culture. So he was against woke culture. He was pro-free speech. I am aligned on this 100%. Free speech is probably the last thing we have left. The last thing us as humans on this earth, it might be the last thing we have left in the West is free speech. And people take it for granted because at any moment that could be taken away. You guys should talk to someone. If you don't think it's a big deal, oh, free speech, whatever, you shouldn't say that. I'm gonna make sure you don't say this. You're not allowed to say that. Go to a country that doesn't allow free speech and go live there. And let me know how that goes. You can't just disagree with people. Sorry, you can disagree with people, but telling them not to speak about something, for me, that's a big step in the wrong direction. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because this situation was Charlie Kirk saying what was on his mind and getting demonized, let's say, to a certain extent. How do you know one day it's not going to be you, that you feel a certain way, that society doesn't feel like, and you can't speak? So the more you push that you're against free speech, I don't know how you expect change to happen in your society. I don't know how you expect to learn in your society. The fourth belief that he had was a strong defense of gun rights. He's a strong supporter of gun ownership rights. He has argued that preserving the right to bear arms may require accepting some risk or unfortunate gun deaths. And I'm sure you guys seen this a lot of people quoting him, saying that, you know, even if gun ownership brings a couple deaths a year, it's just the cost to having it. I see a lot of people on the left using this. It's disgusting to me. Did he say that? Yes. Was he a believer that we should bear arms in order to protect ourselves? Yes. Do I agree with him? Yes. You don't have to agree with him. He's not the first guy in the world to be pro-gun. He's not. Okay, we got immigration and national sovereignty concerns. So he was against a lot of immigration, especially that was illegal immigration, which the U.S. encountered a lot of the last 5-10 years. He was against that. And a lot of people were on his side. And I think a lot of people now in the U.S. just are on that side. He's pro-America. He was pro his country. So, of course, he doesn't want just anyone coming to his country. It could be a criminal. It could be a gang member. He was protective over the country he lived in. Wow. That is extreme, if you ask me. Election integrity was a huge one. I think he did a good job portraying this message, and we just can't have that. I think everybody in the world, left or right, should be for election integrity. You should want elections in your country, in your city, in your state to be fair. If there's anyone out there that doesn't want elections to be fair, I worry for you. I really do. Opposition to COVID public health mandates. I'm 100% with him on this. That changed the whole world. The trajectory of the world economy and countries' economies was changed drastically for the worse. Traditional family values is another one, which you saw him preach this a lot. He wanted Americans to start a family, to get married with someone that they see as a partner, someone they love, to have kids, to build their own family tree, to be strong as a family, to be a family unit. It's crazy to me that people will take this belief as extreme. Listen, the family unit has been under attack for maybe 10 years now. COVID really accelerated it. You saw divorce go up, and you saw the amount of kids being born by young families or young partners go down. These are very important voices. This is a very important voice that we lost because he was pro-family. I'm pro-family. And again, I don't think it's extreme to be pro-family. Then we got U.S.-centric patriotic rhetoric. He puts emphasis on American... Okay, so this is pretty much saying he is pro-America. Anybody that gets in the U.S. way, or any theory, or any type of propaganda that comes in between the U.S. and the U.S. being great, he's got a problem with it. I think the U.S. needs more of this type of voice, if anything. You know, like you walk around wearing an American flag on your shirt, and you're somehow an extremist. What? What are we doing here? What are we talking about? And the last one, he had skepticism for climate change, which I think, again, I'm definitely aligned with. And I think a lot of people at this point are. He saw climate change as just a narrative for the left to use to instill more power into their citizens. we've heard in Canada too, hey, I don't know if it's still going on, but hey, you can't go walking in the park because there's fires. If we see you outside, you're going to get charged because there's fires. We see it with, the carbon tax. We see it with, oh, you have to drive electric. Trust us. Everyone's going to be driving electric. That's bullshit, if you want my honest opinion. So I just wanted to set the tone with this. Ant, do you have any takes on his beliefs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, believe it or not, in the political realm, he's actually like a moderate conservative. He's actually more to the middle than he is far right. I mean, when you think far right, which can be seen as extreme, would be somebody like a Nick Fuentes, for example, who is extremely he's the alt right. So it's crazy to see that the public opinion on Charlie Kirk is that he's an extremist. He's actually a very moderate guy, and the reason you also can believe that is based off of what he did to push his quote unquote agenda, which is in my mind America first, at least. His format was open debate, which I think is, whether again you agree with his views or beliefs or not, he kind of gave people and young Americans, on college campuses, the opportunity to have the conversation, have the debate. So, the fact that he's seen as an extreme figure is pretty sad in my opinion. But his beliefs, in my mind, are actually more moderate, more central than they are, extreme to the right. Again, I just think that that's the way that the world shifted, because the world has shifted so left, so liberal, that his beliefs somehow have now been, seen as far right, which they aren't. But all in all, sad day for America, sad day for democracy, which I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, that's sort of my opinion on his beliefs and the things that he was trying to speak on and push to the American people.
Well, yeah, I think you nailed it. And I think the labeling of being extremist, of being a Nazi, I mean, the words that they would use against someone like Charlie, when I say they used, I'm talking about the mainstream media. It was almost, for me, it's disgusting when you just start lumping people into that. And that's why I wanted to show these 10 beliefs, because I think a lot of people do know most of these, but to really sit down and say, okay, what did this guy believe in that they're calling him an extremist about? There's a lot of people on TV, on mainstream media, that are way more extreme than what I just read. And again, in my opinion, he could have been a future president easily. And I think he was on that trajectory. He was probably one of the most important voices. If there was 5 people that helped Trump win the last election, Charlie is on that list. So, what he did with Turning Point USA, I think that's here to stay forever. I think that's his legacy. And I think Turning Point USA will continue to grow, will continue to educate people. Turning Point USA, he started that to educate the youth on US law, conservatives, Republicans, democracy, Democrats. He built a platform to educate the youth because he knows how important the youth is for the 3-4 votes to come, for the 3-4 elections to come. He dedicated his life, literally. He knew the things he was saying, and he knew a lot of people were getting upset. But he doubled down, he tripled down, and he fought for what he believed in up until the very last second of his life. So again,
it's a very interesting idea to think, kind of just what I was touching on in terms of where America has gone, and the fact that his beliefs, the ones that you've listed off, can be seen as extreme. I think if you go back maybe 20 to 25 years ago, a lot of these were actually centrist and maybe left-leaning beliefs at one point. What it meant to be a centrist slash left-leaning was, the family unit, was all these different things. So that I think that just speaks to where America and the West has gone. That the values from 20, let's say 20 to 30 years ago, that were so centrist and almost could be seen as liberal views at one point, are labeled as extreme now. So it speaks volumes to where North America and America specifically have gone, and where the ideology and, in my opinion, the extremism has really gone. It's shifted so far one way, that a man who believes in Jesus Christ and family first is extreme. It's very sad.
Yeah, and we see both sides of that extremism when I'm looking at these reels of Democratic influencers and left wing influencers, and the videos that they're posting of them laughing and celebrating. That's what really shows how big this divide is. The last
Yes.
24 hours on my phone, ever since I saw the video of him being shot, my whole algorithm is just someone on the left celebrating. Then I keep scrolling. Then it's someone on the right completely losing their mind. Like, I was watching reels yesterday that people on the right were completely like, I've never seen some of these people so upset before, right? So this division is stronger than ever, especially after what happened yesterday. We're going to get into some of the videos of the shooting and what the FBI is saying, what Fox is saying. So Luca, can we start? We'll start with the censored video of the shooting. Guys, censored again because the original is brutal. It's absolutely brutal to watch.
Oh my God. Go, run. Count to not counting game violence.
There's shooting. We're looking for shot. We are live at the Utah Valley State University. I don't know if that was shots or if that was fireworks.
I don't know if that was shots or that was fireworks. And that guy that they caught, that wasn't the guy. That old guy that was first on his knees, like that didn't end up being the guy. Right? But even just to pause for a sec, like even that setup, like I'm looking at that setup, and you have kind of like this courtyard with just roofs everywhere around it. Now, moving forward with these types of events, I don't think they're going to be held outdoor ever again. I don't think they'll ever be held outdoor again. Something like this. And it's just, to me, that's a bad setup. That's a bad setup to do a talk, especially Charlie. And I'm sure Charlie knew the type of threats that could be following him around at these events. But we have a video here we're going to play. And this is another angle of someone laying down on the roof, which they're saying this is potentially the shooter. So let's watch this.
Getting right up.
Yeah. You think you're in a good place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof over there? Just saying? He just ran from over my finger. Well, from over there, ran in. And he's right there. Just saying, just getting right up.
So this guy just sees someone on the roof and says, well, just saying there's someone on the roof. I mean, Charlie Kirk's about to say something and preach his good word, and you see someone laying down on the roof. I mean, that's sketch. I don't know if it's completely their responsibility to bring that to someone, but I mean, I'm sure they're looking back at that video and they're like, damn, maybe we should have said something. And something I want to ask you too, Ant, is like, how about the security? Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Charlie has his own security. They were teamed up with the police in Utah, so they were helping them out. But are we not doing roof checks at all? Are we not checking out what's going on in the perimeter? What do you think?
It's hard to say, looking back, hindsight is 2020. So you're always going to be like, well, why wasn't this checked? And why wasn't this more secure? And why didn't we do things this way? Why wasn't the security like that? I mean, massive event, political figure to some extent, correct? But, in my mind, I don't think that it was, you can't foresee this happening. He's not the president. He's not the president, so I don't think that this is something that they ever expected. Yes, teaming up with the police. Yes, he has his team there, but ultimately, it's tough to say that they should have been able to catch this. It's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to say, in my opinion.
Well, they're saying there's a few ways to look at it, which we'll get to what we think happened personally, and our takes on that. But they were either saying, hey, like the police did everything they could, the security did everything they usually did, and they just didn't catch this one, or it was purposely looked past, which it's more of a crazier one to take. But at this point, I'm not taking anything off the table. You guys let me know in the comments in the chat what you think happened in terms of the security and the police, if they did their job, if there was negligence. What do you guys think on that side? But there's a lot of people talking as to what could have possibly happened. At the end of the episode, we will get into more of our takes as to why and what we think happened. But yeah, let me know in the chat. I'm interested to hear what you guys think about that. Let's get to this. Let's get to the second video here with Kash Patel saying the shooter has been released. Because I have no idea what's happening with this shoot. They found the guy. That's not the guy. We found another guy. Wait, he's not the guy. He's still on the run. He's still out there. We have no idea where he is. Okay, so this was Kash, and this was last night around 8 p.m. The subject in custody has been released after an interrogation by law enforcement. Our investigation continues, and we will continue to release information in interest of transparency. Has he tweeted anything since this? We got Kash here, director of the FBI. So 3 hours ago. So he's just he's talking about 9/11. FBI is working with our little. So he's not saying as soon. So that was a statement. Can you go back up? As soon as we heard about the shooting, special agents and personnel from the Salt Lake City field office responded immediately. We have full resources devoted to the investigation. Okay, but to be clear, the FBI will fully. So they still don't have the guy. They still don't have the guy. And can you go to Candace on Twitter, because she tweeted something super interesting about this. I don't know why did they think it was that first guy so quickly? No, it shouldn't be actually. I think it's just Candace Owens. What is she fucking? Is that her main? They shadow banning her? Oh, real Candace Owens? I think that's the one. Yeah, this should be it. Okay, go down a little bit. I think this was more. Who called the hit on Charlie? We need answers. Okay. This one here. If anybody knows anything about this, please comment below or email. A private jet under the tail number blank left Provo Airport an hour after the shooting. Suspiciously, 30 minutes into the flight, it drops off the ADS-B illegally, which is the radar, and reappears headed back to Provo. Okay, so this tweet, this guy's under the impression that as soon as the shooting went down, someone left and someone came back very quickly. I mean, now everyone's going to look at different things that are happening and happened during that time.
They figured that out, though. They figured out the flight situation.
Oh, did they?
It was legit. It wasn't that person. Yeah. She posted on Instagram, I think, an update of it, saying that she actually spoke to the pilot, and that's normal practice for private jets. And so that has been removed. That stone has been turned.
Okay. Luca, we got Tim in the chat saying there's another press conference this morning. I believe that one was with Trump and the FBI. If we can find that one. And in the meantime, yeah, there's going to be a lot of theories. Yeah, there's
I can
gonna
give
be.
some insight to the FBI.
Yeah,
I watched it live.
do it, do it. What went down?
Yeah, so the FBI, so Fox was live streaming it. Yeah, pretty much they said this is the information that they gave, that they found the gun in a wooded area.
Okay.
They have footprints, they have handprints, and they have forearm prints, that they're running tests on. So that's pretty much everything. They said they think they have the weapon, footprints, handprints, forearm prints. But you know what? Like something you have to consider always is the news that they're giving you. I think is like 3 or 4 stages behind where they're actually at, right? Because if the shooter or the perpetrator is watching the news, like they don't want to let them know like how far they are into the investigation and what they currently know. So my opinion is that that's speculation on my end, but that's pretty much what the FBI said. Found the weapon, footprints, handprints, and forearm prints.
Did they end up saying what weapon it was?
Yeah, it was a bolt action rifle.
Damn.
So not the exact type of gun, but a bolt action rifle is pretty much like it's like a hunting gun. It's what you kill like a deer with.
A bolt action rifle from 200 yards out. That's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think, Luca, I think this video is last night. Was it 13? There's one from this morning. Type in also, put FBI in the search.
There's also something that could be interesting for Luca to pull up is Steven Crowder tweeted something very recently. I want to say an hour to 2 hours ago.
Okay.
That somebody sent him, which was a leaked email from the FBI. You can go on Twitter or X, Steven Crowder. It's a leaked email from the FBI. Apparently, there's some trans ideology and anti-fascist stuff written on the magazines.
We just got it. We just got it. I'm gonna read it here. So this is from Steven Crowder. Exclusive this morning. My team received an email from officer at ATF. The email included a screenshot from what appears to be an internal message describing a weapon and cartridges located by an ATF and other law enforcement near the scene of the Charlie Kirk shooting at Utah Valley. On September 10th, 2025, at approximately 12:24 p.m., conservative political influencer Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at the Utah University in Orem. Mr. Kirk was speaking at the university as part of the American Comeback Tour. Multiple SLC and 3 agents responded immediately. The suspect fired one shot from an elevated position on a rooftop in an adjacent building on the campus, and surveillance video shows the suspect jumping off and fleeing the area on foot. So this guy jumped and he ran. ATF and other law enforcement located an older model imported Mauser .3006 caliber bolt action rifle wrapped in a towel in a wooded area near the campus. The location of the firearm appears to match the suspect's route of travel. The spent cartridge was still chambered in addition to 3 unspent rounds at the top fled magazine. All cartridges have engraved wording on them expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. Are we surprised? An emergency trace has been submitted. An ATF SLC is working leads generated by the trace. The firearm and ammunition have been taken by the FBI for DNA analysis and fingerprint impressions. Upon completion of forensics, the firearm will be disassembled for additional importer information. Multiple people of interest have contacted or been detained because of eyewitness testimony and review of the video footage. The primary suspect is yet to be identified. The ATF is assisting the investigation with multiple other federal, state, local partners, and the case is co-led by the FBI. Wow. So this was given this morning. So, of course, they know things already about the weapon, about potentially who this person was and what they believed in. But of course, you don't see mainstream saying a bleep about it, right? I mean, sooner or later, like if a lot of these shootings are happening, and a lot of what these shooters believe is the same thing over and over again, we're starting to see a pattern. Are we not, Anth?
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about this. I was having some conversations prior to the live stream with a few people that I know are deeply rooted in following the story. Yeah, obviously you're seeing the trans ideology and sort of stuff written on the cartridges. Again, if what Steven Crowder posted is legitimate, so we have to always start with that, right? Is it real? Is it not? Who knows? He's unsure, right? He's just posting it because information he's received. But let's make the assumption that what he received was actually internal FBI communication. Then you kind of look at it and you start to make some, you start to, form opinions. And I know the first thing everyone says is the trans ideology and things like that. It's still tough to say because I, in my gut, don't believe, or I should say, I find it hard to believe that some crazy radical transgender left is behind this, right? It takes a lot. I get it's 200 yards. Some people have said that's an easy shot. Some people have said that's not an easy shot. So you have to look at it, from that perspective. Then you move to like the setup and barely anybody seeing you. A few videos are coming out now, but that's still a pretty stealthy setup. And then even beyond that, the getaway and the fact that in 2025, with the cameras we have and the amount of people that were there, and the way the whole situation was set up, I just find it very hard to believe that almost 24 hours later, or close to 24 hours later, we are, this person is still at large from what we know, and so I just find it hard to believe. And look at it like this, right? I listened to talk about it yesterday, and one of his. He said, different ways to look at it. And one thing he said was a foreign entity, to cause civil unrest in America. And if you take that and you dig a little deeper, the easiest thing for them to do would be set it up, drop the weapon, and write, transgender, anti-fascist stuff to try to sort of swing public views one way, right? So as much as I want to sit here and say, yeah, of course, classic liberal lefty, I can say one thing. I can easily go that route, but I find it hard to believe that somebody like that would be able to execute this the way that they did. At least in my opinion. Again, I could be wrong, but at first sort of glance, it's just too hard to say anything too specific at this point. But again, from what we know, this is how the opinions are going to start to form, right? And we just kind of have to wait for more information on it.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. I think when it comes to what happened and what could have happened and why this happened, I think a lot of people have different takes, different theories right now. You know, I think, and I saw some people say this as well. Let's say it was the left, someone on the left, a group on the left that planned this and orchestrated this. I mean, first of all, I don't put it past them, but I don't also think that you would take out someone like Charlie because he's the biggest voice. I don't think he was the biggest voice. I think he was on his way to being one of the biggest voices. I think the last few years he established himself as a big voice, but I think his voice was effective as opposed to the loudest voice. I think he was super effective in what he did. I think when he went to those campuses, he did open up the eyes of a lot of those students. He did open up the mind of a lot of those students that maybe were used to the same echo chamber that they hear being in classic university and what they're teaching nowadays. I think his voice was very effective. I think the way he spoke to the youth and he debated people, I think that was his biggest talent, as opposed to, let's say, even the size of his audience. So for me, when I look at it, I'm like, okay, well, this was a political assassination. And if we're going to be political, this had to be from someone on the left, unless, like you say, Anth, it's a different country tapping in and trying to cause a mess. If that's not the answer, then for sure, the left decided, hey, this guy, not only is he growing at this pace, not only did he help Trump win that election the way he did, but he's actually a very effective voice that could hurt us. And he can end up converting a lot of people on the Democratic side to our side, to the Republican side. If you think about,
Yeah.
Ant, if I were to ask you, like, who are some of the best communicators online today, would Charlie not come up in your head right away?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's he's got to be. If we're going to speak about people that are again seen as right wing conservative, he's got to be top five, if not top three. Young guy, knew how to communicate with the youth, was definitely on his way up. So he's definitely in that realm. I totally agree with you. I think again when you sort of take a step back, right? Candace said, "Let's leave no stone unturned." And PBD, being the sort of businessman, analyst that he is, he said, like, you got to look at everything, right? Even if you believe a 1% chance that this was how it happened or why it happened or who was behind it. I think, in my opinion, when I take a step back and I look at this situation, I think off the jump from what I've seen, again, very early, but from what I've seen, there's sort of three angles I have. A radical leftist who just didn't like him, didn't like his opinions, and was willing to sort of lay it all on the line to get rid of a guy that they just hated. There's that option. I think another option could be, like you mentioned, Ernesto, the sort of deep state, which people see as the left, the left wing, the Democratic Party, and everyone involved on that side of politics, seeing him as a threat to their future and the power that they hold over America. That's sort of a second option. And then the third option, which people could say this is 1%, 2%, the sort of lowest odds of being reality. This is where I stand. This is actually where I lean more. I really do believe it's when I say foreign entity, I also see this. I see the CIA and FBI as a foreign entity because they have acted in many different tragic and horrible events in America with foreign entities. So I have to lean that side right now. That's where I'm at. I think it was too well orchestrated from what we've seen, at least, and the information we have. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. But again, I think what we need to learn as a society, especially since 2020 and everything that has unraveled since then, and the information that we've received on so many different things, 9/11, JFK assassination, COVID, the things that we've learned later on, once these events have finished, the things that were hidden from the public that have now come out. With all of that happening and being unraveled over the last 5 years or so, I think the number one thing people need to learn and start doing is don't just think that the most in front of your face option is always the answer. That the options that at the beginning are sort of very low odds of being the truth, that there could be merit to them and it could go that way. So essentially what I'm trying to say, when you have tragic, horrible events that are, I would say that will shape the history of a country and a nation, realize that every option is an option until proven otherwise. Would you agree?
Yeah, you nailed it, Ant. You nailed it. What I want to do, Luke, is I want to open up this one here. When the FBI arrests the man with a pellet gun, I want to see what happened here. So this was the first old guy that they arrested, or was this the second one? So these two posts are the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen from an FBI director. What are you thinking, making an announcement like that? And they arrested the guy with a pellet gun. So that's the pellet gun that they found. Let's see that comment there. Grok, is this true? Can you open that up and see what Grok said? Based on news, okay, Charlie Kirk was fatally shot. No official sources confirm a pellet gun. They describe a real firearm. Okay. So it could be true, could be not. But I mean, guys, if you're in the chat and you know how to spot a pellet gun, let us know. But I mean, they're doing a pretty good job in this photo, saying old man as a decoy. I mean, there could be decoys and stuff like that. But Ant, what I want to ask you is that the shot came from 200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a good shot. And, for an average person to do that, I'm not a big hunter or a big shooter, but is that difficult for just an everyday person to do, or do you have to have maybe some military experience or something of that sort to get this done?
Yeah, look, I think I'll start by saying I'm no expert on this topic, but I will say that you can't just pick up a gun and within even a year of decent training be able to make that shot. Like we're talking 200 yards. We're talking like, we're talking a football field, almost two football fields apart. Um, and with the precision that he was hit again, which is extremely unfortunate and sad, but you got to be a trained professional to some extent. Again, I'm no expert on this topic, but I can confidently say that's somebody who had some type of training. And I'm not going to say military training. It is I don't know if it's open carry or concealed carry, but they're pretty open with their gun laws. There are a lot of kids who go hunting and parents train them and they do shooting stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a state where that's pretty common. So not to say that it couldn't be just a quote unquote everyday person. But with that precision, at that range, because what you have to also consider is there's a lot of pressure on that person as well, right? Taking the shot, again, it's not good pressure, but the reality is, however long they've planned to set this up and the whole thing, and when they're in that position, all of those thousands of people there, and they're going for one person. There's a lot of pressure on that person. So outside of the fact of if someone's trained their whole life to be able to make a shot like that, you have to consider the other thing is that they're under an extreme amount of pressure. So to me, this looks like someone who's done it before. Trained professional, army professional or not, hard to say. But I have a very hard time believing, again, I know I said it and I'll say it again, I have a very hard time believing that this was some random, radical lefty who maybe has shot a gun before that just decided, all right, Charlie Kirk's coming to town. I'm going to do what I got to do.
Well, speaking of that, we have a tweet here from an Omar, and this is going viral. I also saw this last night. Luca, if we want to pull this up here, and I'll read these tweets from Mr. Omar. They blocked his Twitter, right? You have this screenshot though. Do they see this right now? Okay, cool. So we got Omar. Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him, literally. Okay. Then he followed up on his own tweet and he said, let's just say something big will happen tomorrow. So, okay. I mean, this is a pretty messed up tweet to read the day after. Apparently, this guy, he just deleted all his profiles now, Luca. He just deleted everything, for sure. I mean, you got to take this with a grain of salt. But at the same time, FBI, probably look into this guy. Because I really hope someone evaporates him, literally. I don't know what else that could mean besides him dying. Right? So this guy's... Is this his new profile? Different person. But anyways, that's been going viral a lot. There's, I had to bring that up, Ant, because you said something about the lunatic lefty shooting it and they don't have the skill to do that. They don't. But what about if, 20, 30 of them got together? Now, I'm not trying to say who did it or why. I'm simply keeping all options open right now.
Yeah, which is completely fair. And like I mentioned, I think that at this point, that's really the only thing that we should be doing is keeping every single option open until more information is given to the public. But look, I have to jump out, so I just kind of want to leave a couple words, say a couple words before I get out of here.
Okay.
Yeah, look, all in all, I know there's a lot more that you're going to go over, and I'll try to keep it short here. But very, very sad day for America, very sad day for the West as a whole. This was a public assassination, of somebody who is, in my opinion, and in a majority of America's opinion, an outstanding citizen, somebody that cared about the country to its fullest extent. I don't think that there's many patriots in America and that are so for America, like Charlie Kirk. So it's very disturbing, to think that pushing for things like the family unit, Jesus Christ, which America was built on, whether people want to agree with it or not, and free speech and open debate was brutally murdered and assassinated in public the way that he was. So condolences to his family, and I know they're definitely going through a very hard time. But this should really awaken America, and that there is a war going on, whether people want it or not. And I'm not talking about Israel and Palestine, and I'm not talking about Russia and Ukraine. I'm talking about internally, civilly, between the left and the right in Canada and in the United States. And I think that the right has tried to play it cool by allowing for open debate. I don't think the left has done a good job of that. And I think over the last, let's look at since the Trump assassination or assassination attempt, excuse me, he, it has only been right-wing figures that have been, the victims of assassination attempts or assassinations. So that really speaks to both sides of the coin, and who is actually the party of hate, and the side of hate. So very sad stuff. But I think people should remember first and foremost that he was a husband, a father, a son, a brother, more than anything. And yeah, very, 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 very sad day for America. And I think crazy to say, but this will be the turning point in American history, or will be a turning point in American history. And I think he'll live on for sure. So we'll see where this takes, the West, but definitely interested to see how things play out. And with that, I'll leave you guys. Ernesto, to this. MBH fam, love you guys. Appreciate you. And I'm tapping out.
Appreciate you, Ant. Enjoy your trip, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. See you.
Later. All right, guys. We just got news that Trump went live and said he will award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So we're gonna watch this video now. I think this just happened. So we'll get this up so you guys can take in what he just said.
And grief. So many Americans at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk have felt. Charlie was a giant of his generation, a champion of liberty, and an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Our prayers are with his wonderful wife, Eric, and his beautiful children. Fantastic people they are. We miss him greatly, yet I have no doubt that Charlie's voice and the courage he put into the hearts of countless people, especially young people, will live on. I'm pleased to announce that I will soon be awarding Charlie Kirk posthumously the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The date of the ceremony will be announced, and I can only guarantee you one thing, that we will have a very big crowd. Very, very big.
This morning, bipartisan condemnation and outrage.
So, Medal of Freedom. Is that what he's getting? Medal of Freedom. Well deserved. And I mean, these kind of announcements are not going to stop for a long time. Whoever did this to Charlie, whatever group, whatever side did this to Charlie, hoping that it would silence a whole majority. Hoping it would silence a lot of people. But I think, like Anthony said when he hopped off, this is the turning point for USA. And I mean, a political assassination. That's the worst that it gets. And I wanna go into some reactions of different people and what they've been saying about it. Luca, we could start at the top there with PBD. And Charlie was loved by a lot of people. And you're seeing that. You can go online, you can go on X, Instagram, TikTok. People that have never said anything about politics. They're out here speaking about how much of a loss this is. and how much of a red flag this is for everybody in the West. The fact that you can't even go out there, sit down, and debate without worrying about getting shot. So let's see what PVD said here. I still can't believe it, but it's true. Charlie Kirk is dead. I see many divisive messages. I've seen many ugly messages of people celebrating his death. Even some mainstream media reporting it. It may have been friendly fire, which we're going to watch that video, actually. I think that was MSNBC reporting it. Regardless of these evil comments, I believe the majority of Americans are disgusted with what just happened. I agree. And from what I'm seeing online, it looks like that is the case. Evil will always be around, but we must unite in difficult times like this. So why don't we watch that video of them, of the MSNBC, just doing what they do best. And what they do best is they have no idea what they're talking about, ever.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about.
In which a shooting like this.
Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? A supporter shooting their gun in celebration. How did your imagination get that one? Out of all the things that you could have said or assumed, you have one of the most controversial figures doing a debate in front of thousands of people. And you think someone that loved Charlie is shooting a gun off in general, number one, at his debate? No, that's not happening. Number two, how do you shoot someone in celebration of them? Oh, Charlie, thank you so much, bro. I agree with everything you say. Boom. That's the first thing that guy thought about. The next week and 2 weeks of the news coming out, especially on mainstream is going to do the same thing again. They're going to show everybody that they have no idea what they're talking about. They have their own agenda. They're going to report this Charlie Kirk death the way they want, the way they've been told. That is disgusting to me. The millions of people that had to watch that. And then think about the people that might have actually thought, "Oh my God, you know what? That guy has a point." It could have been his own guy, just so happy that he shot Charlie in the neck. Come on, guys. And you know, this is just the beginning. You're going to see everyone in mainstream report this the way they want, the timeline they want. That's why the messages that come from the FBI, from Charlie's team, from Turning Point, those are going to be the important messages. That's what you have to look for. If you're looking for real information as to what's going on, please do not go on MSNBC. They haven't known for a long time. All right. MSNBC, friendly fire. Appreciate that. I hope they came back after and said something like, "Oh, like we said this and that's not true." But did they do that? You guys don't know if they did that, right? No, there's no way. There's no way they're going to come back and say, "Oh, well, you know, we said like it could have been friendly fire." That's like the last thing on anyone's mind when they saw this. When they heard, "Yo, Charlie Kirk was shot." I don't know anyone that said, "Oh my God, it was probably just one of his people just celebrating and they shot him in the neck by accident." What are you, nuts? MSNBC fires Matthew Dowd after Charlie Kirk shooting comments. So they fired him. Matthew Dowd made comments, okay? MSNBC has apologized and reportedly fired analyst Matthew Dowd over on-air comments he made about the fatal shooting of conservative activist. Okay, so he's fired. Good. That's a start. But the problem is that with MSNBC and these mainstream media is that they just get someone else that's another puppet that thinks this way, that has this kind of mindset, that has these type of values. And, "Oh, here, come over here. You're going to be the host of this show. Keep that same energy. Oh, you don't like Charlie? Come work with us." Very sad. Let's go to the next one here. We'll keep going down the reactions list you have here, Luca. because a lot of people said a lot of interesting things. Charlie Kirk is a father and a husband. He is a human. I don't care if you politically disagree with him. Nothing justifies this sick act. And to sum it up, that's how I feel about this. When I see people online spewing hate, a big media page will post RIP Charlie Kirk. Then I go to the comments Oh, he had it coming. Oh, this is karma. Oh, thank God. You guys are talking about a father of 2 kids. What about those 2 kids? What about those 2 kids now that have to grow up without a father? And number 2, as they grow up, they're going to learn about how their father was assassinated. You guys got to have some humility a little bit. You understand? I wouldn't wish this death, this assassination, on my worst enemy. I wouldn't. Because you impact much more than that person you just killed. So, a moment for Charlie and his family. They're going to need all the prayers they can get. I'm sure Turning Point will be doing everything they can to help his family. I'm sure the Trump administration will be doing everything they can to help his family. But imagine you're Charlie's wife and you go onto TikTok and you go onto Instagram and you see people cheering on your husband's death. Again, if you go back in this episode, we went through his beliefs. He's not a murderer. He's not a rapist. He's not an extremist. His beliefs were viewed as common sense beliefs. You can't even call him far right. He wasn't. So what is his family supposed to do now? Besides go online and read all these horrible messages about their dad, her husband. It really makes me sick. It's grinding my gears, and it's causing a lot more division than what had to happen. That's the honest truth. The society could have taken this 2 directions, and we went the direction we always go with, and it's to keep the division going. We might be right now in the climax of division right now. We might be in the climax. We might be at the peak right now. I don't know how it gets worse. People are saying, oh, well, there's going to be a civil war now. And I think a lot of people get that mixed up. They think civil war and they think of a group of soldiers on one side and a group of civilians on the other side, and they attack each other. That's what people think a civil war is, which to an extent it is. But you guys can't tell me that right now we're not in a civil war. You can't tell me that. This is the type of stuff that happens in a civil war. We're already in a war with each other. We might not be hopping in our tanks and getting our AK-47s and attacking another group of people down the street. This is a civil war on our spirit. I call it a spiritual civil war. And we're in it right now. If you go on Instagram or you go on TikTok or you go on X, there's a war going on. That's a war. It's a digital war, which actually ends up happening in the physical world, as we saw with Charlie. But we're already in a civil war. We don't need to take it to the next step and fight on the street. That's already happening anyways, too. But go online. You'll see the real war. You'll see what people really think. And I think that this was the nail in the coffin, because I just don't know how we stop division after something like this. You guys tell me if I'm wrong in the chat, but this is what I'm seeing online. I'm literally seeing a civil war online. So look no further. Don't wait for, people to start driving around with a group of 10 people attacking one another. Don't wait for that. This is already happening. You guys can go online and see, wow, this person hates that person. This person hates that person. Look at this group of people attacking this one person. If there's anything I could say right now, I know a lot of people on the right are very, very angry. I get it. I know. I feel your pain. I really do. And there's only so much that we can sit back and allow, let's say, the Democratic Party or people on the left to do what they want to do. They tried to assassinate Trump. It didn't happen. That was already a huge red flag. And I know you guys want revenge. I know you guys want to hit back. I know you guys want to strike back. But remember how we got here. Remember how we got enough people to open their eyes against this evil to begin with. We did it through conversation. We did it through proper communication. We didn't do it from disrespecting the other side as much as the other side. It seems like they're dying to be disrespected. We did it through proper conversation, respect, kindness, right? And I really don't want to see more of a divide happen. This is why I'm saying that. People on the other side that didn't like Charlie, listen, if you're one of those people that are celebrating his death, me and you, we got nothing in common. I'll tell you right now. There's nothing in common between me and you. For someone to celebrate a human's death, again, he wasn't a criminal. He wasn't any of that I listed. You got to be sick in the head. You really do. I think something's wrong. So if you feel like putting a hate comment out there and going to comment on his RIP post, just save it. Save it. There's already 1 million people that did it. They got the point. You guys are psychos. You guys are psychos and you like to see people get shot. Fathers, husbands. That's not the good way to go. If I was on the other side, that's not the way you guys should go about it. You guys are causing more people to open their eyes, even on your side, and say, wait, am I on the side that's celebrating a man's death? And I think a lot of people are realizing that, and they're saying, whoa, this is too far for me. I get it. You can hate him. You don't have to like his opinion. You could talk shit with your burner account, throw some hate. It's a regular day. But the minute you celebrate a man's death, you are dehumanizing yourself. You're showing other people, hey, me, I'm not human. I don't feel that pain that everyone feels when he died. I don't feel that. There's something wrong with you. You've been desensitized to the level that you can watch that video and celebrate. Like I said, for me, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. There's people in life that I look at them and, we're seeing it in Canada a lot with this crime and a lot of criminals doing the craziest shit, raping little kids, getting away with it, walking into homes, killing people. These are people that, in my opinion, if you do that sort of stuff, you deserve the death penalty, in my opinion. If you rape little kids and you kill people for a living, and that's what you got going on, you deserve the death penalty. Charlie Kirk, who was pioneering a whole generation of youth to understand the importance of what the U.S. is built on, and you kill him. Evil is out there at a high level right now, and you guys just have to be careful. Don't let the demon get to you. Don't let the satanic spirits get to you, because this is what this shit is. This is evil. This is good versus evil. Don't let that shit get to you. Whether you're on one side, whether you love Charlie or you hated Charlie, this has to unite us, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. And if this is the kind of shit that they want the world or the U.S. to get used to, that's bad news for everyone. If they want us to start seeing this as the usual, as the normal, oh, it's just what happens. Oh, he had it coming. He was, Oh, he was saying some stuff. You can't say that. Well, once you start acting like that, then where does freedom of speech go? It goes in the garbage. It goes in the garbage. You know? And guys, I'm very bothered by this still. I'm really not taking this in fully. You know? And I think, like I said, it hurt a lot of people. There's a lot of people mad, but just make the right choice. Make the right choice. Don't look to hate in this situation. If you're a Charlie fan, don't look to hate, because Charlie, he wasn't a hater. He didn't hate. Even if he debated someone he didn't agree with 100%, you would never finish watching that and be like, oh, well, Charlie hates that person now. Charlie would help others see things with the truth, with kindness, with respect, with curiosity, with questioning. So I say to everyone, don't look to hate, no matter what side you're on. Ask questions, though. Ask questions. Figure out what you need to know. Listen to people online that you trust most. Don't watch the mainstream media. They're going to spin it whatever way they want, as they do everything else. So I'll give you some advice there for free. Don't watch mainstream if you want to know what's going on with this. Man. Let's go. Let's open up the Utah government and what they're saying. So this was, yeah. So this is the governor of Utah. Let's see.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to two young children. He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated. And that's what he does. He comes on college campuses and he debates. That is foundational to the formation of our country, to our most basic constitutional rights. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now, to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
Good. Good. That was very well said. And I'm glad he added that in at the end, that Utah still has the death penalty. And guess what? This person deserves the death penalty. It's pretty straightforward. There's no saving someone that's capable of doing this. I don't want to hear about, oh, well, they can go to rehab and come out a better person. And this is not the time for that. It's just not the time. We need justice for what happened. And I'm cool with this man here using all the powers he has to enact the death penalty on this person. No problem at all. Do your thing, bro. I really hope you mean it. I hope you find this person fast. And I hope there is justice for once. Please. All these different shooters and this, there's never justice. Please. Flip the script. Let's hold someone accountable for once for these things that are happening. Just one time. Let's get them. Please. This cannot be something that is pushed under the rug in weeks and, oh, we're still looking. We don't know what happened. I hope that's not the case with this. How they haven't found the person yet, I have no idea. I might need to do a whole other episode just for that because I have no idea. I hope by the next time I see you guys, they found the person and there's justice. But until then, I'm literally mind boggled with how they haven't found the person, but they also found 2 other people that were not the person. Insanity. You know what I want to do? I want to react to the best top 10 Charlie Kirk debate moments because I want to end this with feeling good about Charlie. I don't want to end this feeling bad about Charlie. I don't want to end this with you guys feeling negative about what happened. And you should. I can't tell you that you can't feel bad. You can. But I do want to remember all the good things that Charlie did for our society. Right? I really want to do that because you have to celebrate this man. We have to continue to celebrate this man for the decades and decades and centuries to come. Let's not forget all the good that he did and the special man that he was to millions of people. And people might even ask, oh, well, you know, he got shot. He's dead. Now what? Well, now what do we do? Well, I think there's a few things. I think, first of all, we need to get justice. We need to find the real shooter and bring him to justice. The highest level of justice possible, in my opinion. Right? Now you can ask, okay, is this going to hurt Turning Point?
It's not about
what's going to happen to Turning Point? Guys, Charlie impacted millions and millions and millions of people. There are young men out there fully invested into Charlie Kirk. They love him. When you debate at that level, at that volume, think about how many lives you're changing. Even if you spoke to 3,000-4,000 people at a campus, what, you're not inspiring 50 of them? You're not changing the mind of 40 of them? 100 of them? And he did this for years. What this did is only going to amplify the values and messaging that Charlie had. There is millions of people now that will take the reins and say, let me continue Charlie's legacy. Let me take what I've learned from Charlie and bring it to life. I'm not worried about that. I think that his messaging is now going to be huge, especially in America. I think you're going to now have people with platforms double down on their beliefs that were similar to Charlie. If you have an influencer out there that believed in the family unit, best believe they're going to be going harder than ever now. If you have someone out there that believed religion was the answer, Christianity was the answer, they're going to be going 10 times harder right now. This did not go to plan for whoever decided to do this to Charlie. Because his voice, his name, his messaging, his beliefs will only be amplified to a huge level now. And my take on the whole Civil War thing, do I think, the guns are coming? I don't think so. I think we already have enough of a war going on in our own minds. Everyone's got their own war going on in their own head. Then they go online and they attack and they go to war again with someone else. How many wars do you think we can handle? So, with that being said, you know, we had some other reactions and what people said. I was going to play some other ones with some people on the other side. We'll see if we get to it. But right now, I want to really watch this video of Charlie, get me in good spirits, get me thinking of Charlie in a good way, in a positive light, and remember some of his best moments. So I want to do that with you guys. We might pause it here and there, Luca, but we can get it started.
Out the cells.
No,
it's not about. No. I'm
I know,
speaking. No, I'm speaking. No, I'm
we're both
speaking. No,
functional
I'm
cells,
speaking.
okay?
No, I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking.
Want to say it one more time?
No, I'm speaking.
Hello, everyone. I am Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA, and I am surrounded by 20 woke college kids. A woman is an adult female with XX chromosomes. You tell me, what is a woman?
I think a woman is somebody who identifies as a woman.
Got it. So that's not a definition. That's like saying a table is something that identifies as a table. Give me an objective definition of
No,
how...
it's not. A table is an object.
Well, tell
A table can't identify as anything. It doesn't have
but
choice.
You have to give me an objective definition of what a woman is.
If I decided right now that I wanted to identify as a woman, I would be a woman.
Okay, but that doesn't answer the question.
I know, but
you
right
said-
now I'm a man, right? So if that
but you have
happened
to
right
tell
now,
me
I'd be a
what that
woman.
thing is.
Once a person makes the decision to identify as a woman,
Got it. No,
they're a woman.
that's a separate issue. What is a woman?
That's the definition.
No, I know, but you have to tell me what.
A person who identifies themselves as a woman.
But you have how do you know that they are that thing?
How do I don't need to know what they
No,
are.
no,
I can
no,
ask them if
not
I
that
want
they
to
need
know.
But there needs to be. You need to tell me what that thing is, though.
Somebody who. Okay,
You need
okay,
to
sorry,
give
we're not
me-
getting anywhere. We're
you
not
need to-
getting anywhere.
Well, no,
We're not
it's
getting
important because it's like saying a giraffe is a thing that looks like a giraffe, or a coyote is a thing that looks like a coyote. It's called circular reasoning. You have to give me a actual definition.
I don't have to. I did give you a definition.
No. You said that a woman is something that thinks they're a woman. That doesn't give me a definition.
Do you feel?
Can you pause it for a sec?
Proud of yourself for?
I mean, just think about the last minute that you watched. Think about now the patience that you have to have, which if you see Charlie, he's being fully patient. He's being fully respectful. He's actually being very logical. And you'll notice this throughout his debates that he just simply asks questions to find out the reasoning why that person might feel that way. Or he asks questions to get to the bottom of why the person he's debating feels so strongly about a certain topic. If I was sitting across from that person in that debate, I'll tell you right now, ain't no way I could be as patient as he was being. I'd probably get a little bit frustrated because the person was trying to talk over me the whole time. I'd probably get upset with the fact that I knew that conversation was going nowhere. But you have Charlie there genuinely looking at the person across from him saying, you know, I actually really want to understand how you got to this and why you think this. Not only so that person can learn, hopefully learn or open their eyes in some way, but think about the millions of people that watched that clip. Think about the millions of people that watched that clip that said, you know what, damn. Charlie was just trying to ask him a few questions and the guy couldn't answer. Or the girl, I don't know what that was, but whatever that was, they couldn't answer me. They were getting emotional. They were trying to speak over me. They were just raising their voice. And if you know anything about debates, you know that when one of the people in the debate starts acting in that fashion, raising their voice and speaking over the other person and not answering questions, you know that person's probably losing that debate. So for me, that last clip we just watched is a huge representation of how Charlie debated. And he was debating very difficult people. These are not easy people to debate with. He wanted to challenge himself. He wanted to show the world, hey, this is how conversations happen. Let's see if we can both do this. Let's see if both sides can do this. He was comfortable bringing the facts, bringing the logic every time. Now, whether the person he was debating opened up to it, but the main reason I wanted to show that clip was that you can see how calm he is. You can see how confident he is. He's sitting there with full belief in himself that he's sitting there and trying to do the right thing. Let's keep watching it here.
Debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself. Hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm a
So
registered
I
voter.
vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Then a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
You create a company that's like close to being a fascist, and then like.
Okay. How am I?
Sorry.
Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
No. Dude, like you.
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
You believe that like. You on. Oh, shit.
Let him think.
But
I'm such a bad fascist. I let the people who disagree in open mic to talk to me for 2 hours uninterrupted.
Okay.
I'm an awful fascist. I'm more like a free speech liberal of the 1970s, not a fascist.
But I just want to say Turning Point USA is a evil company that was funded by thousands of fracking companies, and that just...
No, it's not thousands, but we do have some frackers that give us money. But
yeah, and then all it is making the rich more rich.
Fascism to fracking.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Okay, again, I'm happy to have a debate. I can see you're getting kind of fired up.
I'm sorry.
So, but why are we evil? Like, we're having a nice discussion.
Because
all of a sudden you're calling me like a fascist.
Because it seems like you just want the rich get even more rich. Like
we haven't talked about the rich at all. I mean, so you don't even know.
And they start saying that these people on the right are fascists. He goes to Charlie, you're a fascist. He goes, well, what makes me a fascist? The guy has no answer anymore. It's done. And again, another interaction where Charlie was super, super respectful. He even mentioned again in that dialogue with him, hey, I'm just trying to have a debate here. By the way, you're getting fired up. I'm just trying to have a debate. But a lot of people on the left, they come in with that energy of just there's so much inside of them that they need to get out, and all these names that they want to call the person, and they just start blabbering it out. And Charlie was simply, as usual, asking questions. Hey, you called me a fascist? What's fascist about me? What's a fascist? Why do you feel this way? Oh, well, you just take money from the rich, and you take money from the rich, and the rich get richer. I mean, the rich getting richer, that's a story that will never end. I hate to break it to everybody here. But to blatantly just go out and start calling people fascists, stuff that you don't even know what it means. You don't even know how to connect that to Charlie. That's a great example of how a lot of the debates went on campus. And what does that show? Does that show that, oh, you know what? Charlie's just speaking to uneducated people? Or does it show, oh my God, all these students on these campuses are lost, are genuinely lost? That's what I got. Every time I would watch it, I rarely ever got anything from Charlie's side. It was more me realizing, holy shit, what is wrong with these students that he's talking to? Why are there so many of these students that think this way? All right, let's see this clip from the iced coffee hour that he was on.
Let a woman pay for a date, or you should split ever. No,
even on the third, fourth, fifth.
What if it's the first date and you're just not into
for anything?
Okay, well let me.
Period.
Well, let me. Okay, so
what kind of world are we living in?
Well, hold on a second. I agree with you. If I'm dating a girl, I would pay for everything.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. However, I could see for other people that might be in a different financial position, you know, you pay for 10 dates and then she's like, you know what, I want to treat you.
Well, that's totally different. No, what we're talking about is like, oh, we're going to alternate. Like, well, what's your serious and she wants to take you out to something for a nice dinner. And you might, by the way, if you have the intent to marry, you're already like kind of blending finances. Like, I get that psychologically. But like, if you're like, oh, we'll take turns. Like, oh, well, you know, you pay this time, I pay this time.
What's your advice to a girl who the guy she's currently seeing, he says that?
Oh, do not marry that man.
But here's the thing. I feel like they should always
break offer.
Great. But they should offer. They should pull out the credit card.
The woman? Of course not.
Just to offer.
No.
It's a nice gesture.
No, by the way, no. This is feminism. Feminism is that you have to be this like self-independent. This is not a nice gesture. It's you trying to be like egalitarian. No. You as women should want to be provided for. In fact, you should have an expectation that you as a woman are so important and so critical and so necessary and beautiful that it shouldn't even be a question.
Do you view democracy as an American value,
pause it.
something that's very important?
I mean, this is a tale that never ends. I strongly believe in Charlie's stance on this. And I think that society nowadays, and it comes from both sides, right? You have the feminists and they say, well, I don't need no man. I don't need that. I'll do everything on my own. I'll make my own money. I'll run my own business. Okay. Which is fine. I'm not against that. I think that it's just taking a whole life of its own. And I think a lot of women taking part in feminism don't actually want to take part in it. But that's a whole argument for another day. Then you have the men saying now, well, okay, well, since you want to be this woman and make your own money and call the shots and be the man of the house, then you got to pay for half. I just don't like that situation as a whole. I think he's right. If you're a woman and your guy starts saying, hey, well, you gotta pay for next dinner, or like, let's split it. Like, just know what you're getting into. That man that you're with is clearly not, let's say, a full provider as a man. So just know what you're getting into. Same on the guy's side. If you're with a girl and you can tell she wants a traditional man that's going to take care of her, that's going to pay the bills, that she can handle raising the kids and taking care of the household, just know what you're getting into. There's women out there that want that in a man, and I don't blame them. There's women out there that want to wear the pants and maybe they want to pay for things. Do it. But just know what you're signing up for. Your partner will match that energy. The kind of guy I am is if I'm with a woman and dating a woman, I'm pretty much telling her, I'll take care of everything. Now, there's the odd 1-2 time, like they were saying on this clip. Oh, maybe she said, like, I want to finally bring you to dinner. And it's your 50th dinner. Okay, that's different. But for the most part, I believe that men should be providers. That's just what I believe. You don't have to agree with me. But if you have that energy as a man, then when you find a woman that wants that, you're good. The problem is that there's two sides of this getting together. You have a guy who wants a traditional woman, but he finds a woman that's a feminist. And now, well, yeah, obviously. Come on now. I'm with Charlie on that 100%. And again, that's a great example of one of the messages that he preached was traditional masculinity. Traditional. You should want to take care of the woman you're with. You should want to provide. I'm not saying you have to start buying her bags and buy her Louis V and, ship her to Miami for a week with her friends, all inclusive. That's not what I'm saying. Everyone's got different situations. Right? But if you're going to take that route and have characteristics like a traditional man, then that's what you're signing up for. You're signing up to be the protector and the provider. And if a woman is signing up for the same thing and they want a man that's a provider that's going to take care of everything, she will bring her own value. The hardest job in the world is being a mother. So if that's something she signed up for, there's a good chance that you're going to have to be a hell of a provider and a hell of a protector if that's what you want in life. Let's keep it going here.
To the fabric of this country?
No. Where is democracy in the U.S. Constitution?
Oh, okay. So are you...
No, hold on. Where is the word democracy?
I don't think the word democracy is in the Constitution.
So where is the word democracy in any of the founding fathers?
A lot of the founding fathers had extremely elitist viewpoints around who should...
No, hold on. I just want to... You said the word democracy, so I want to get back to our roots.
Yes.
Where is democracy mentioned? In the Federalist Papers, the Constitution, or the Declaration?
I think it's good that this country has moved away from things that were explicitly believed by the founding
in the Federalist
fathers.
Papers, and it's mentioned negatively as a problem. So you ask me, is democracy a fundamental American value? I say no.
Okay.
Because I go back to our roots. And Hamilton, Madison, and Jay...
Oh, I know that Hamilton was anti-democracy.
Hold on,
these
let me
people
finish.
thought that people should be owned as
I want to be
property.
clear. I am pro-representative government,
okay,
but I'm not pro-democracy. That's a big difference, and that distinction's important. But you asked very specifically about democracy, which is not an American value. It never has been and never should be, because what is democracy? Democracy is majority rule no matter what. that there's no provisions of checks and balances, no inalienable rights, no separation of powers, pure if the majority gets it, the majority wants it as quickly as possible.
I don't advocate pure democracy. I do understand that we live in a
Cool.
representative, like we live in a republic, and I understand these things.
You're a stochastic terrorist.
What is that?
You're targeting a minority group. You're targeting trans people
Got it.
specifically.
What is a woman?
What is it? That's a stupid ass question, dude. That's a dumb ass question.
What is a woman, college student?
What is a woman? Oh, you're talking to a college student instead of, like, I don't know, somebody who has media training?
They can't answer what a woman is. It's not a trick question. What is a woman?
Who identifies as a woman?
What is that thing? You can't answer the question with the question. It's like saying, what is the sun? The sun is something that looks like the sun. What is a woman?
It's a social identifies as a woman.
No, you can't answer the question with, define the woman without saying woman.
Yes.
Can you stop it there?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I might have to end that there because that is where we are at. What is a woman? This girl turns around and says, well, you're asking someone who's not media trained. I didn't know you had to be media trained to answer that question. This is the problem. You can't even ask questions. I really believe, like, in 100 years from now, history is going to look back on these years and be like, what were these guys all smoking? What was in the kush that year? That these people couldn't answer, what is a woman? This is your whole argument. Oh, trans and this. Okay, what's a woman? Oh, you can't ask me that. Guys, what are we doing here? You know, what are we doing here? Anyways, we're going to end it there, Luca. Guys, appreciate you guys tapping in. Prayers. Keep your prayers with Charlie Kirk and his family. Keep your prayers with those around you. And remember, do not turn to hate in a time like this. I know it's easy for both sides to turn to hate, but it's not worth it. We don't need more hate. We have enough. We got lots. All right, so turn down the hate. Be critical thinkers. Be logical the next few weeks as news comes out about this. Take everything with a grain of salt. And do not watch MSNBC. All right, guys? We'll be back Tuesday for another episode of Tapped In. If you guys enjoyed it, please like, please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We'll see you in the Discord to chat some more. All right, we love you guys. Stay blessed. All right, and lots of love your way. We're out.